up, my little Tattle Tells? Yo, sit down, shut the door, close the blinds, y'all. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Amber just admitted in court that, yeah, I effed your friend. Basically, she literally admitted to having James Franco over into the apartment the day before she filed for divorce. Now get this, Johnny's lawyer, first she tried to say, no, we're just friends. Johnny's lawyer hit her with the videotape evidence, and baby, all I gotta say is Amber Heard is bold and brave. Listen, I know you can never question a victim, right? But I gotta ask, how are you afraid for your life, but you're poking at the beer? Again, I know everybody reacts differently, but don't most people that are actually afraid for their welfare not directly put themselves in harm's way through their own? You brought that man to the house where security saw it, everybody told you, and you already testified that Johnny was extremely jealous. Wasn't she afraid? And guess what? They also pulled out on the tapes on how, even though Amber said he was just a good friend and lived in the neighborhood. Spoiler alert, James never lived in the neighborhood. And on top of that, James Franco out in these streets talking about he's Mr. Friends with Benefits. He's Mr. OPP. He's Mr. And guess what? It goes on for years, making people think, was Johnny wrong? But apparently, whatever happened with James Franco was so life-changing that the next day she filed for divorce. You guys, she literally admitted on cheating on Johnny Depp with James Franco. Y'all, let's get into this mess. But before we do, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Listen, I'm going to start deep diving into the case, bringing y'all the gossip and the odd tea, just like this one. All right, y'all, let go. Amber Heard confirms that she had James Franco over the night before filing for divorce from Johnny Depp. Her lawyers played the elevator surveillance footage that showed Amber and James going to her penthouse on May 22nd, 2016. You guys, now they said that during the cross-examination on Tuesday, Amber was asked by Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, about her testimony where she addressed seeking a temporary domestic violence restraining order on May 27, 2016, so she could change the locks. Amber said Monday that she was falling apart and having difficulty because of panic attacks over Johnny entering the residence she was staying. She testified the building staff would let him in even when she requested that he not be allowed. Now get this, Johnny's lawyer, Camille, then asked Amber, you felt comfortable having James Franco over the evening of May 22nd, 2016, Ms. Heard? Amber responded, I do not know when James came over. To which Camille shot back, okay then, let's remind you. She then played elevator surveillance footage of Amber and dirtbag James Franco with the timestamp May 22nd at about 11 p.m. on their way up to the penthouse. In the footage, James wears a hat and a backpack. Where was he coming from? Why do all these rich people wear backpacks? What are you holding? Then again, it's James Franco. I don't even want to know what's in that backpack, right? At what point, James put his head on Amber's shoulder as she appears to place her head on his. Then they exit the elevator together. Now, the funny thing is, James is such a dirtbag. I could see him being like, hey you, hey big head, how you feeling? Come here, yeah. It's been a lot. Yeah. Let's get it popping. You know how like guys like James Franco, the dirtbags will try to be like the shoulder to cry on so they can worm their way in, but obviously you didn't have to worm your way in. You knew what it was. That's why you were over there. Now get this. Amber confirmed that it was James in the video and that they were going to her penthouse. She said, that's where I lived, yes. Before adding that she was unsure what she knew of Johnny's schedule at the time when asked if she was aware that her husband would be out of town. Now, this to me was the most shocking thing. You brought another man into this house and you didn't even know whether Johnny was going to be in the town or not. So you literally wanted Johnny to walk in and see you getting Franco'd? That's some bold mess. That, to me, it's bold. It's bold. And here's the thing. I'm not going to call Amber's story into question now. I'll say that for a different video. But I will say this. You're terrified for your life. You're changing the locks. You're doing all this stuff. You have a contract with Aquaman. I don't care if it grossed $1.6 billion. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And we got a preview of Amber's acting skills, right? You're living in terror. You have money, you have means, you have access, you have friends, you have high-powered Hollywood friends. Why, if Johnny's so crazy, deranged, and this stuff, and I'm not saying whether he was or not, that's for a different video. Let's just operate within the four walls of what Amber's telling us. Why would you bring another man in there for Johnny to either run into? You knew, because the security people were watching you, that security was reporting back. You knew Johnny had access to that footage. You knew that the employees were telling on her. You knew this, so you knew it would get back to him. You let a man in, and you didn't care if Johnny, the crazed, deranged person that made you fear for your life, would find out. And even if he didn't come home when James was there, if you were staying there and you couldn't change the locks and all his employees, like you said, were on his side, weren't you scared that Johnny seeing James in your house and while you getting Franco'd would honestly send him into such a rage that he might actually really hurt you? Again, I'm not judging her choices. I'm just saying, I don't know about this. And also, I get it. She has needs. She needs to live her life, but you know that's not really your house. You know Johnny has everybody in his property. Why didn't you guys just go to a hotel? I'm just saying, even for Amber's safety, it kind of doesn't add up. But let's get into this, right? Now, we know that Amber filed for divorce from Johnny the following day on May 23rd, 2016. She and Johnny met while making the 2011 film, The Rum Diary, and later wed in 2015. Now, a lot of people forget that Johnny Depp was a long-term partner to Vanessa Paradis and also had 2 children. And he left Vanessa, cheated on her with Amber, and then got married to her 4 years. He was with Vanessa for almost 14 years, maybe even close to 20. I don't know. It was a while. Never married her. And then you met Amber and you married her. You fought for this. You destroyed your common law marriage for this. You destroyed your family for this. At this time, Amber was not even talking to your children because they thought she was out of your mind. Like, I get the fact that Amber Heard might be putting 20 on 10. And listen, I 100% do believe that anybody that is in the throes of addiction, they're capable of anything, right? I think it's laughable that people are trying to act like Johnny Depp didn't do this or do that while he was high out of his mind. Now, was Amber locked in an abusive relationship and she was a victim of DV? We'll get to that in another video. I am saying that, is anybody going to make Johnny Depp take responsibility of you ran to this tornado and when the tornado whipped you around and blew you over? Now, okay, but you know what? Let's move on, right? Also, let's say this Amber literally gave Johnny Depp the biggest FU in the world. You knew he was going to find out. You invited James to come Franco you. And then the next day you filed for divorce. You guys, she did it on purpose. I'm not saying, listen, we're not arguing on whether you believe Johnny or Amber. Let's just say what happened. That was some crazy, bold stuff. And if you really feared for your life, why are you poking at the bull? That's what I want to know. Because when you poke at the bull, it makes you look like a willing participant, you know? But then again, that's why they say don't get in toxic relationships, because before you know it, both people are toxic and you really don't know who is the wrong one. Anyway, during Redirect, Amber explained about James. He was my friend and he lived next door, quite literally next door. And I frankly had exhausted my support network with my usual friends, and I was happy to welcome as much friendship at the time as I could possibly get. You guys, here's the thing. In her testimony, I'm going to come back to that because it's already been established that James Franco never lived in that building. When she says they're neighbors and they lived literally next door, Johnny owned 5 buildings back to back, right? So when she says, from what I understand, that James was her neighbor, you mean he lives like 10 buildings over? He lives in the neighborhood? She makes it sound like they were walking in the elevator and was like, hey neighbor, what's up? He doesn't live in the same building. Johnny Depp owned that whole building. Johnny Depp is loaded. I had no idea. He's one of those people Oh, you didn't just save your money for rainy day. You enjoyed your millions and you enjoyed them well. But my whole point in saying this is, he wasn't your neighbor in a classic sense. He might have lived in the neighborhood. And also that elevator that goes up to the penthouse, first of all, Johnny owns the whole building. Only Johnny and his friends live there, and maybe whoever's renting it out. James Franco never lived in that building. Two, to get into that elevator, you need a special key because the elevator they went into only goes up to the penthouse. And you know how it is with penthouse elevators. When you walk in, you need a key to walk in because when you go to the penthouse, it literally opens in the middle of the living room. So and there's different elevator banks. Some elevator banks go to floors 1 through 9. Some just go to the penthouse. They got into the elevator bank in the penthouse. Amber, but let's get into this, right? In her testimony, Amber explained that she was close friends with James, who she made 2 movies with. She also claimed that Johnny would get jealous and accuse of her having affairs with her co-stars and didn't want her to continue acting. I believe that. I mean, one thing that we can say out of this, Johnny was jealous and he admitted to going to rehab, so he was out of his mind on drugs. Again, do I doubt this happened? He was out of his mind on drugs. Johnny probably doesn't even remember this happening. Johnny then testified that he thought she and Johnny were having an affair. Amber testified about the nightmare of arguments she and Johnny would get into over James. She said Johnny was mad at me for taking the job with James. He hated James and was already accusing me of kind of secretly having a thing with him in my past since we'd done Pineapple Express together. Again, Johnny might have been jealous, but Amber, if you're scared for your life with this person, why would you poke the bear and bring someone that he already thinks you're sleeping with to your home? Forget about James being able to protect you. What about when you left? What about when James left and this madman Johnny that's writing blood all over the walls actually approached you? Did anybody ask her that? Because it's just not making sense. Now listen, I know there is no such thing as a perfect victim, but I'm pretty sure people that are afraid for their life have a nexus of trying not to do anything that's going to endanger their life unduly. Now, there's some things that you can't help. You breathe and someone's like, that's it, you're deleted. But on other things, Amber. Now, in December, right, James did an interview with Sirius XM on the Jess Cagle podcast in which he addressed the multiple allegations of him being sexually inappropriate to people in his acting school. Here's the dirtbag part. He opened up about struggling with a sex addiction and said, I had girlfriends. I could never be faithful to anybody. I cheated on everyone before his girlfriend. He said it wasn't like really, I wasn't like really a one night stand guy. Like people that I know, I got together with or dated, I'd see them for a long time, years. It's just that I couldn't be present for any of them. And the behavior spun out to the point where it was like, I was hurting everyone. So James is letting us know that he's down for the friends with benefits, right? You guys, listen, I'm going to start covering the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Listen, you know I love picking these niche stories and following them to the bitter end. Go ahead and like, subscribe, baby. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.